There we go. Okay. Welcome to the workshop. I'm really excited to have you guys here today. Usually I keep my workshops to my close professional network, and this is the first time I've really opened it up to Canada. So I'm really excited to see where everyone's from. Oh, too fun. We have someone in Slovakia. This is great. Hamilton, Guelph, Richmond. Oh, I love this. This is so exciting. Okay, so our workshop here today is going to be 60 minutes. It's going to be a lot of information. So if you are a note taker, get ready with a pen, a paper, and I will send out the recording. So if you feel like you have to kind of write in a flurry and you're not catching everything, it's okay. You'll be able to go back afterwards. And I am a fast talker, so I will try to slow down. But when I get excited about something, and I'm really excited about marketing and sharing this today, I tend to speed up a little bit. So today we're going to talk about growing your small business with branding. I love marketing in general, but branding is something I am super, super passionate about. I'm going to get rid of that name tag. There we go. So we're going to talk today about defining your brand's voice, vision, and value. And the key word I want you to see there is that it's define, not create. Quite often when we think about a brand, it feels kind of arbitrary, and it can feel a little egotistical, like, oh yeah, I'm going to create something out of thin air. But really, if you're a small business owner, entrepreneur, and you've been operating for any length of time, you already have a brand. You've already been doing these things. You already have a voice, you have a vision, and you have a value. And it's going to be more about going in and defining what's already there and what's already working and pulling it out and making it concrete. So it's really not about creating anything. It's about finding the beauty that's already in your business and using that so we can leverage it for the benefits of branding, which there's a ton of benefits. I love branding. I really, really do. So hello, I'm Cheyenne. My name is Cheyenne O'Driscoll. I operate under CO Marketing. It's my little logo there. And I am a marketing coach and consultant. My type of marketing is marketing without the ick. I know so many of us, we see so much of the really heavy promotional, pushy sales kind of marketing. And I know we don't need to be using that. I'm a professional marketer. I've been professionally trained, and I've worked with over 100 local business owners and entrepreneurs and organizations. And I know the power of marketing that is authentic and respectful. And it really drives substantial business growth. One of my clients is a local gym. I'm in Southern Ontario in Canada. We're a smaller size city, and the local gym was one of those places that used to be a cornerstone of the community in the 80s and 90s, back when like the aerobic stuff was really cool. And it had just kind of fallen into disrepair. And a new owner purchased it. And over the last 5 years, between the investments he'd made in the equipment and developing it and renovations and the marketing that I've done, we've grown it from 5K a month in revenue to 25K a month in revenue. And that's through COVID and a whole lot of shutdowns. We've had some big franchises move into the market. But this type of marketing can really support substantial business growth. And it's really exciting when you get to do that for your business. So instead of feeling like you're kind of like running constantly and you're getting nowhere, these type of systems in your marketing will actually really help you push that bottom line. So the only link you're going to get from me today, the only kind of pitch we're going to see is going to be my email newsletter. I don't like pitching in webinars or workshops. I'm really here to provide value. So if branding or marketing in this kind of authentic way resonates with you, my newsletter goes out every week. It's full of tips and strategies. I put a lot of energy into creating it every week. I absolutely love doing it. So hop on there if you want to know upcoming workshops that I'm doing or other people in my network are doing. I have a really amazing network of other people who help support business owners and their growth. So today I have a couple of goals. At the end of these 60 minutes together, here's what I want you guys to walk away with. Here's what I have planned this workshop out for. Here are my intentions and what I know you guys can get out of this if you're able to listen to me talk for 60 whole minutes. Maybe it'll be a little bit shorter, we'll see. So our first goal is going to be understanding why branding helps you grow. I know from all my work with business owners that branding can come across as kind of like fluff, right? When we're in those early stages of business, everything we do, we're kind of focused on making sure it drives sales because we just need money in the door. And branding can be one of those things that we put aside because it's like, yeah, I'm sure that's nice, but I need sales. So we're going to go through the proven benefits of branding, and I'm going to help you understand why it's worth the investment it takes to sit down and sort out your brand. Even though in a month it might not immediately drive sales, you might not see an immediate ROI, there are some very tangible benefits. And in the long term, it does really drive sales and it does bring in an ROI. Second, I want you to walk away with clarity about what a brand vision, voice, and value are. I want you to really understand what I mean when I say those three words in a very tangible way. And I want you to start understanding what they mean for your business specifically. And then third, I'm going to give you three very practical questions that are going to be little seeds that I want you to walk around in your head with, to write out, to kind of question while you're in your business, that will start helping shift your mindset from seeing your business as just a product or service that you're selling and start looking at it as a brand. Excuse me. It does take time to develop a brand strategy, but these three questions will help to start flesh it out in your mind. So when you sit down to invest your own time or you bring in a contractor, you'll have built up a bit of a framework already, and you'll start switching, understanding that a business is so much more substantial than just the product or service. So why branding? My little floating slides, I love them. First, I want to explain to you guys a brand strategy versus a brand identity. Quite often when we first start talking about branding, unless you have a marketing background, most people associate that with things like a logo, your colors, your font, and they like, I have a brand, I have a logo. But this type of branding is your brand identity. It's the visual components that communicate your brand. It's not your brand strategy, which is what we're going to go through today. Your brand strategy is made up of your vision, your voice, and your value. And in an ideal world, we do our brand strategy first, and then it feeds into the brand identity. And we'll have a couple of examples as we go, so you kind of understand why that is. If you haven't done it in that sequence, which is much more common, it's completely okay. Usually, we will have intuitively landed on some kind of color scheme or a logo that matches the vibe of our brand because we already have a brand. So quite often, if you went, oh yeah, this fits, you might not have known why, but it probably still relates back to a brand strategy that you can consciously create. So why branding? Why do I insist every business owner that I work with, people tend to come to me when they're at the stage where they're ready to get serious with their marketing. They probably spent 3-5 years building their business. They know it's viable. And now they're like, okay, how do I get to the next stage? My answer is always, what's your brand? Do you have a brand strategy? And here's why. These are statistically proven benefits. They've done long studies that showed businesses that have a strong brand, it increases these benefits for them. So our first one is that it helps us stand out in a market, which in marketing terms is differentiation. When we are a small scale business or entrepreneur, you probably don't have a really giant budget for promotion and advertising or content creation for social media. You're probably not up on billboards. So just sheer frequency of messaging is not something that's available to you. And you probably don't want to spend all day posting on social media personally. You're probably busy being in your business, right? So we can't leverage $1,000 a month budgets to get in front of people as frequently as bigger businesses can. We need to leverage something else. And that something else we leverage is our brand. What happens when you have a really strong brand strategy and it's been fed into your brand identity is that you only need to get in front of somebody one time, because the resonance that you create is so strong and your brand is so strongly communicated in that one social media post or one Eventbrite advertisement, which brought a lot of you guys here today. And that alone is enough to stand out from all the other options. There's a million other places you can go learn about branding today. And you're here because the advertisement I put out on Eventbrite, there's a couple of people from my professional network as well, But that one instant was enough. Something resonated with you enough that you went, this looks like a place for me. That's the power of branding. That helps balance out the fact that you don't have an aggressive advertising budget, or you don't have a aggressive content creation budget. So that's one benefit of branding. The second benefit is brand loyalty. There we go. If you have run your numbers, if you've been in business for any length of time, you will know that customer or client acquisition is always going to be significantly more costly than customer or client retention. Keeping somebody coming back and repurchasing from you is going to take a lot less investment in marketing and communication and nurturing than bringing somebody completely new into your business. So the gold standard here is, how do we increase customer retention? Branding builds loyalty. When we have a strong brand, our clients and customers get an emotional connection to us. If we make sure there is a continuous experience of values, our delivery matches, our promotion, everything is in integrity, we become the go-to solution for our customers and clients. It will not be a matter to them of, oh, can I go somewhere cheaper to get it, or what's more convenient to get it. We become the space that they want to go to get it because they have a sense of connection and loyalty to us. So this actually drives retention costs even lower. And that helps to create a sustainable business, and it gives you more money to work with to grow it. Our third one is commanding a premium. This is a big topic when we're talking small scale businesses and small scale entrepreneurs. If you're here today, I know you are not running a multi-million-dollar business, right? You're bootstrapping, you're investing your time and energy into learning how to do this. Little bit of business school here is what we're going to go through. So if you are a big scale business, let's say you are a franchise like Tim Hortons that sells coffee across, the globe, but across Canada and the States. You can afford to sell one unit of coffee. Let's say it costs you $1 to produce that unit. You can afford to sell it at $1.25, a really small profit margin, because you're going to sell $50,000 of coffee a day. So you're going to create a profit. You're going to create the revenue and profit you need in your business, even with a small profit margin. If you are a small scale business, we do not have volume. We will not be selling 50,000 cups of coffee a day. Let's say you're a local coffee shop, and that's the example I'm going to use throughout this workshop. It still takes you $1 to produce that cup of coffee. Let's say you sell 100 a day. You are going to need a bigger profit margin. So you will probably sell it at $2 or $3. And you will find local businesses, people who are solopreneurs, they tend to be more costly. And there's a good reason for it. That's what you need to create a sustainable, profitable business. Just on principle alone, that you will be low volume, which means you have to be high margin. The beautiful piece is, with all the businesses that I've worked with and all the entrepreneurs that I've worked with, it doesn't matter if they're B2B, if they're product-based, service-based, B2C, online, brick and mortar. If you have taken the steps to build a business and you've lasted a few years, there's something you're deeply passionate about. You're putting your own name into it. I have never met a business owner who's like, I'm going to do good enough and that's good enough. Nobody goes into business to do good enough. We would just stay working for somebody else and have an easy salary in our bank account. There's something we are very driven to produce that quality. We source good products. We make sure our services are delivered, and we really, really meet the needs of our clients and customers. That means we have a premium product or service already. So we should be charging a premium price. It does justice to what we're supplying. The other element of this is, if you have a hesitation around charging a premium because you're worried people can't afford it, it'll cause struggles for your current clients or customers, be mindful that there is a market of people who have money that they want to invest in premium products and services. If you are priced at a low price, they will associate you with a high volume, high scale business. And that's not what they're looking for. They will actually bypass over you if your pricing is low, because they're looking for the premium quality and product that you actually have. but because they don't get the opportunity to recognize it as something that's a fit for what they're looking to invest in, they just assume if you're low priced, you're lower quality, and that's not for them. There's a huge opportunity here. And your brand, the intentionality behind being well branded, shows up as premium, and communicating your core values clearly through your brand. That allows the right people who are looking to invest to know this is the place for them. That's how you command a premium pricing, and you have a big enough profit margin that your business becomes sustainable and can even grow. So those are the whys. I want you to really understand as we go through the vision, voice, and value. When you start implementing those and you build a brand strategy, this is the benefits you will get out of it. It's really, really substantial when it comes to creating a business that's going to grow for us. So our brand vision. I love this one. Anyone who's into kind of personal development, you love exploring your inner world, this is going to be a bit of a dive into yourself because you are the source of your brand. So your brand vision is your business's guiding star. I know a lot of us, if we're entrepreneurs, we probably get caught by shiny object syndrome, where, you know, all of these ideas come to us and all of these suggestions and other people are doing cool things. And one of the biggest challenges as a business can be, oh, should I do that or should I not? And the beautiful thing about your brand vision is it becomes a guide for you to evaluate all of those opportunities against. So your brand vision is going to be your big picture goals. It's going to be the mark you want to leave on the world. It doesn't matter how small your product or service is. Most likely at some point, you as a consumer were looking for a solution, or you were in an industry providing solutions and you went, this isn't good enough. There needs to be better. And then you decided you were going to be the one that created better. That's the mark. That's the change in the world you've oriented your business to help supply other people with. So for me, I'm all about local consumerism, and I have a background in classical French cuisine, and I was working with local farms to connect them with restaurants and stuff. And I recognized that the marketing piece was the piece they were missing, and it could be done so much better. So that's kind of my mark in the world. I want to use marketing to bring businesses that are not just growing a substantial business, but want to contribute to their communities. I use marketing to help them do that so that they can grow. And it steers all of your decisions and growth strategies. There's a lot of flexibility when you're a small business owner or entrepreneur, and it's just you making the decisions. But with that flexibility, sometimes it comes with the challenge of knowing when it is what's the right decision. When you have a clear brand vision, you can say, is this idea in support of this overall vision? Does it support it or does it take us away from that? And that becomes a really easy way to start evaluating your options. So I'm going to give you, throughout the workshop, we're going to talk about local coffee shop. This type of stuff applies if you're online. I do most of my work online. I'm a service provider. It applies if you're brick and mortar and you provide a product. Every single business, this is applicable to. So let's say we have a little local coffee shop. I have one here in Quinte West, Ontario that I absolutely love. It's the epitome of a local business success story. And the entrepreneur behind it is literally nationally award-winning. It's just such a privilege to be in the same space as that kind of a business. So the product is coffee. You can go anywhere and get coffee. The big franchises, Tim Hortons, have that low-priced coffee because they sell it at high scale. So how does a coffee shop possibly stand out? I think we have six Tim Hortons in my community here, and we're like a population of 40,000. So we're definitely saturated with opportunities to purchase coffee, and yet this small business is thriving. So how is he doing it? So the product is coffee, but the vision behind his decision to open a coffee shop was to create community connection and well-being. He's genuinely someone who believes in supporting the community and bringing people together. And even though he's selling coffee, everything about what he does with the space he has is in alignment with this bigger vision. And it's what's created the success that he has behind it. So even if you're selling something as simple as coffee, it really is about a bigger vision. It feels a little grandiose sometimes that we're like, oh yes, I'm here to change the world. Like, no, I'm just selling coffee. I don't want to change the world. but there is a reason that you chose to start a business. And I know it's not because you thought it would be easy money, because anybody with two brain cells bouncing around in their head knows that starting your own business is never going to lead to easy money. There's something really deep about why you made this decision. And that will be what draws people to you over any other option to go purchase coffee or whatever service or product you offer. So your brand vision, when we get clear on this and we start building it into our marketing, we communicate it in our content, we communicate it in our sales, all of that. Here's the benefits it brings you. It gives you direction, like we've been talking about. The brand vision provides a clear roadmap. It's guiding decisions and aligning actions with future goals. I know I keep reiterating this. It's because as entrepreneurs, I know one of the biggest challenges we face is we veer off track. And when we veer off track, we lose momentum. It's the entrepreneurs and business owners that can stay focused that build something really substantial. Too often we get pulled off into a bunch of directions and we do everything 20%. And we never get to that point where we start to really see the return on our investment. So a brand vision gives you that direction. It also gives us inspiration. Oddly enough, one of the trade-offs of a highly successful business where everything's running smoothly is you can get bored. And as entrepreneurs, we like challenges and we like creating things. So when things tend to get boring, a little bit of self-sabotage can creep in there. When we have a brand vision, it inspires us. We know that even if the coffee shop is running well and covering overhead, let's go back to the vision. What else can we add? What else can we do? And it plants those seeds of inspiration in a way that's still in alignment and supports the entire vision of the brand. It motivates your team. If you have employees you're bringing on or you're working with people, it connects with your customers. It drives innovation and it fosters shared purpose. You become about so much more than coffee when you're there to create community connection. It's also that differentiation. Incredibly important if you are a small business and you're not going to have $10,000 for an advertising budget. You need to stand out. Vision sets a brand apart. It emphasizes its unique mission and it builds a loyal community. You only need so many loyal clients or customers to make your business sustainable. And a brand vision is one of those things that bring people in and creates loyalty with your business. So that's your brand vision. And what I want you to do, I'll go over these again at the end, and I'll also email them to you with the replay. So don't worry too much about trying to madly write it down. But the question I want you to put in your head, and I want you to tumble around for a while, sit and write it out, analyze it, is what problem do you passionately want to solve? When you first created your product or service, when you first launched your business, what were you solving? What got you so riled up enough that you took matters into your own hand and decided to create something that you couldn't find out there available yet? And how will the world be different because of it? How does it make an impact on the lives of your clients or customers? Because I know you're not doing it if you don't believe it provides value. And this is one of those moments where if we are someone that struggles with maybe seeing our full potential, it can kind of maybe trigger us to want to play small. Remember, you're doing this in service of your business and all of the potential clients and customers you can bring that difference to. So don't play small. You are legitimately making impact. So that's our brand vision. We're going to move on to brand voice now, which is a really fun one. So your brand's voice is your business's personality. And although it will most likely be based on aspects of your personality, it's not your complete personality. It's not everything about you, right? There will be 2 to 3 character traits that you want to bring in, and then you want to embody it in every post, email, word, image, and interaction. You want to filter every piece of marketing and communication and how your business is run through this personality and whether it's in alignment. And this consistency will echo your values across all platforms. The way I created my Eventbrite ad and my event description, that was embodied with my brand's personality. You see my little logo, you can probably get a sense that it's about organic, warmth, authenticity, and that's built into not 100% foolproof, but it's everything that I create that's built into. So you probably picked up something about that in what you saw about this workshop, and it probably aligned with one of your own values in either how you do business or your own core personal values. And that's why you're like, yeah, this works for me. So that echoing even across something like a workshop or Eventbrite ad, it makes a huge difference between how effective the content and the activities you're doing as a business can be. Really important that we figure out the personality behind our business. So we'll go to our local coffee shop again. Again, we're just selling coffee. But if we go back to that vision, if we're looking to create community connection, and that's the big purpose, we're probably not going to create a brand that, you know, maybe a little edgy, a little sarcastic. And there's a place for that kind of voice. It does really well. And you could actually do a coffee shop with that kind of energy, but it wouldn't be about creating community connection. So this brand's voice is going to be warm and inviting and passionate about making every cup of coffee a journey to community connection. It's going to be inclusive, right? So you can see how this all starts to stack on each other. And again, with my logo here, so warmth is one of my brand values. I'm in a B2B space, but I have a much softer approach to marketing. I'm not like a hardcore B2B. It's really about the authenticity and organic kind of marketing. And that comes across in my logo. It's built right in. I had a graphic designer do it for me. So it links up visually with the tone of voice behind your brand. And this is if you have a logo already, you want to kind of evaluate it and be like, is that giving across the characteristics that I want my business to embody for people, or does it need some tweaking? Do my colors need some tweaking? Colors are a really nice psychological hack, right? My orange is instantly warm. So it's a shortcut to creating that energy for people. Brand voice, these are the benefits. When we start to bring in our brand voice and we know our brand personality and we're consistently using it in our posts and our emails, here's what we end up getting. We get brand recognition. Huge, because there is so much content out there. We are fighting in an attention economy. The biggest asset we can create is people being willing to give us their attention. And in order to do that, you're going to need to build brand recognition. The consistent voice, the consistent visuals across all your channels means that people immediately know, oh, that's that person, or that's that brand, that's that business. And that will help them open up the email. It will help them stop the scroll. It'll help them know they want to pay attention to that piece. It creates an emotional connection. Emotional connection is what makes a business viable. If you don't have an emotional connection with your business, you're trying to fight as a commodity. You cannot be a commodity because you can't sell at a low enough price to compete with those who sell at volume. You need to have an emotional connection. You need to be non-replaceable by someone who's selling cheaper. So unique brand voice builds a stronger emotional tie with your audience. If you're showing up as, even if you are that sarcastic, edgy, that still creates an emotional connection with the right audience. If that's their vibe, you now feel like one of them and they're going to have a good time reading your content. So emotions in our content is really important. Shared values. Expressing core values through your voice attracts customers who align with your mission. This again becomes one of those places that you outcompete the people who are able to flood social media contents, or they have the billboards. When you know what your business stands for and you unapologetically express that in your content and the shared values come through, people feel this is for me. These are my kind of people. This is my kind of business. Because really, when we purchase from a business, unless we're purchasing a commodity, which is about the lowest price, which is not what you guys will be selling, we are purchasing an opportunity to vote for our own core values. The reason we pick one business over another is because we feel like they embody a value that we genuinely believe in, and we are voting with our dollar when we purchase from them. This is where merch comes in. When you build up enough brand equity and someone is thrilled to have a shirt with your logo on it or a mug with your logo on it, it's not your logo. It's the shared brand values that they're excited to showcase to people who know them. That's what they're actually purchasing from you. And in order to communicate that, we need to bring in our brand voice. We need to make sure that we are embodying the core values consistently throughout. Again, because my whole thing is about authenticity and that type of vibe. If I was to show up someday and be really, really salesy or really manipulative, that would instantly violate the core values my audience thought they were sharing with my business. And it would turn people off so quickly, because even if they would ignore somebody else who was very manipulative and they'd be able to go, it's just not for me, there would be such a sense of betrayal in a business that they had invested, either hopping on my email list or, having communication with me. If I suddenly turned very manipulative and salesy, it would actually create a very negative impact on them. So consistency with this is very important, and getting very intentional and evaluating your content and say, does this match up with our brand voice? Is this in alignment? So your brand voice, figuring out that personality behind your brand. I really like this one. It's a lot of fun because you kind of get to play with it a bit. The question I want you to ask, if your business were a person, how would it speak to its closest friends? And how would they describe them? What kind of character traits would they list? Cheerful, grounded, professional, inspiring, educational, right? Try and find up to 3. You don't want more than that because it becomes watered down. But what 3 character traits would people say about your business if they were a person? It's psychologically, we don't really understand brands and businesses as an abstract concept. We really graft them onto the concept in our brains as people, which is why quite often the words we use in marketing, it's personality. That's really the psychological framework we're working with. So really envision them as a person outside of yourself, and you'll start to get a sense of the brand personality that you want to use. And again, it's already there. You might need a little bit of refinement and focus, but if you've been in business for a couple of years, you already have a brand personality. It's just about defining it and getting intentional about building it into your brand strategy. So brand value, this one is, it's a deep topic. We're going to talk about the benefit ladder or the value ladder. And we're going to walk through the different levels of what we are actually selling, because your brand value is what your business is actually selling. It's not your product. It's not your service. That might be the piece, the tangible piece that people walk away with. But this is not the reason they are choosing you. Again, if we're small scale, we need to give people a reason beyond receiving the product or service that we're delivering, because otherwise they will just compare us with the cheapest possible option. There are buyers who that is these consumer behavior they're going through, and we all do it for certain things. There's things I purchase, like socks, that I don't care. I just need socks. I have 3 kids and they go through socks like water. I don't understand where they go, but they disappear. So I just buy socks in bulk. I'm not looking to invest. Socks are a commodity in my life. I just keep them coming in the house because they keep disappearing. But because we are building businesses, most likely bootstrapping, and it's all our energy, and we don't want to have a jobby, which is a job hobby, or even worse, an expensive hobby that we're paying for. We want something that's going to legitimately support itself and then support us. We need to understand these deeper levels of value that we're bringing, because that's what's going to have people choose us initially, stay with us over the long run, and be happy to pay that premium price that we need to be able to continue to deliver a high quality product or service. There's nothing more soul draining than ending up in a race to the bottom because you are scrambling to try and reach some kind of profitability. So you spend less time on your services, or you cut corners in your products. And then it loses the soul of why you went into business. So this is a way to understand clearly what sets you apart from other commodity-based businesses and how to communicate that. So we're going to talk about the value ladder or the benefits ladder. And what that is there's 3 levels to what you are giving people an opportunity to purchase from you. There's 3 benefits that they receive. The first one is the unique features. It's what makes, if you were to describe it, this is where people usually start with their brand. If you were to describe what you're offering, this is how you would describe it. The second one are the functional benefits, which is what it allows them to do, the kind of functional experience of utilizing or receiving your product or service. The third one is the emotional benefits. And I think most of us have a sense that we want to tap into emotions. And this is that experience of that they're going to go through while they're using your product or service, or while they're going through the transformation that you're giving them, and the end result, how they'll feel at the end. And then there's the societal benefits. This is a really big picture view, and it can be kind of hard sometimes to allow ourselves to see that we are making that level of impact. But this applies to everything. I've even done this from my gym client. One of our most successful campaigns we ran was in the holiday time, the holiday hustles. And one of the things we had pinpointed was that women get really frazzled during the holiday season because there's so much that they're doing. It's a really chaotic, busy time. And we positioned a gym membership, the functional benefits where, we have 20,000 square feet of gym space, gym floor, we have squash courts, yada, yada, yada. That's the functional benefits. The emotional benefits was being able to feel calm and collected, and working your way up through that. The societal benefits was kind of that bigger picture of women being willing to take time out for themselves, even during the busy holiday season. And like that big picture and weaving all those levels of benefits into the landing page and into the social media messaging, it created a really successful advertising campaign because it resonated with people on a very deep level. And to them, it made sense then to invest. So we'll walk through our coffee shop selling coffee. I love how as we go through this, you can start to see they're not selling coffee at all. It's almost completely arbitrary that they're selling coffee. They could be selling smoothies. They could be selling anything. But what they're actually doing as a business is based on this brand that they've built. So the unique feature is high quality coffee and a cozy, inviting space. And quite often when I'm working with business owners, this might be where they stop. When they try to lock in what makes them different, what their differentiation is, what kind of the core of their brand is, they would stop at this. And it's a pretty surface level understanding of what they're bringing to the market. But when you read that, right, high quality coffee in a cozy, inviting space, like, yeah, that sounds okay. But when we go deeper and we go up those rungs of the benefit ladder, we start to see. So the functional benefit is they get to enjoy exceptional coffee in a comfortable setting designed for lingering. That's the experience they have in a functional way when they're sitting in the coffee shop. The emotional benefit is that they feel a warm sense of community and connection over shared coffee moments. This specific coffee shop that I'm thinking of, the continuity of the brand is so incredibly epic. It's best practice. The baristas are super welcoming, super warm. You could sit there for 5 hours and never feel like you were maybe, being eyed up to move out the door. They genuinely make you feel completely comfortable sitting there and lingering. I book most of my in-person meetings there if I can. I brought my niece there for brunch. You genuinely experience that because the physical space has been designed for it. The staff have been trained to embody it. Your brand really goes so far beyond your fonts and your colors. It really needs to be woven into every aspect of your business so that a social media picture showing a drag show brunch that has people laughing and loving their time, you put that on social and somebody sees that picture and then they go in to sit down and enjoy a coffee, they experience the same emotional benefit. So it's really important that we weave it throughout everything. So the expectation and the people it's drawing in that have that same shared core value, you are delivering that when they're in the space. If you're a service provider online, you make sure authenticity is one of mine. I respond to all my emails. Sometimes I make really dumb mom jokes. Like, I'm very authentic. I let down the professional guard because that's how I want to do business. And it's how my business is built. So it being woven throughout is what creates a really strong brand and a really strong customer journey. And then those big societal benefits for our coffee shop, it's cultivating that cherished third space for the community where meaningful encounters and lasting relationships are built. There are so many people that I meet every couple of months, and we always meet at the same coffee shop. Our whole relationship has been built within the four walls of this coffee shop. And I know I'm one of many in the community. Everybody knows this coffee shop. It's the Grind and Vine. If anybody is in Southern Ontario near Quinte West, really incredible space. It has genuinely become a cornerstone of our community because that brand was there to support it. It really, really has created a space of inclusion and welcoming. It's a bit trendy and cool, which I enjoy because I'm 40 in a couple of weeks and I like feeling cool still. But it really does have that big impact. There was a coffee shop there before, but it was a different brand. It was a mom and pop kind of coffee shop. It didn't have a solid brand. This entrepreneur knowing how to brand and knowing this level of his business has transformed literally those exact same four walls into something that has created an impact in our community. It really has made a benefit to our society. And the reason he's a bit of a hometown hero is not because he sells good coffee. I actually don't think his coffee is that great, to be completely honest. But it's that he has genuinely provided our community with this incredible space that brings societal benefits. And people love his business and love his brand because they get behind that kind of benefit as well. That's the type of world they also want to help make. So he's selling them so much more than coffee. He's selling them an opportunity to almost self-actualize. And Tim Hortons cannot compete with that. People will gladly go down and pay $7 for a latte and be thrilled to do it because this societal benefit is what they feel they've actually bought into. Tim Hortons, for anybody that has, I'm Canadian, so Tim Hortons is kind of a rolling thing for us. When it was originally started and when I was a child, it had that community cornerstone feel. And one of the most common complaints about it now is that even though their marketing and messaging attempts to establish themselves as that, we know it falls flat. It's not actually there anymore. And a lot of people are kind of angry about it. We're upset that they took a franchise that meant so much to us Canadians and they took the heart and soul out of it. That's how important these legitimate emotional benefits and societal benefits are. Even though Tim Hortons is really, really large scale, the brand value of it has taken a nosedive. It's starting to have a lot of negative associations, which is brand equity is everything to a business. It's what keeps people coming back. It's what makes you viable and makes you able to grow. So tapping into something like the societal benefits, although that might seem like a lot to ask, it allows building it into something like your landing pages or your social media content, taking a moment to talk about that bigger vision and how you want to impact society really creates a huge difference in your brand, and your audience will resonate with it. And you'll stand out from all the other options. The people who are in alignment with wanting to be part of creating that difference, they will gravitate towards you because they know doing business with you is a way to support it. It becomes about so much more than the products or services. So when we figure out that brand value, those four rungs, and we really understand the depth of the benefits we're providing, here's the benefits we get for our businesses. We become a unique solution. So brand value highlights the unique solutions your businesses provide. It sets you apart in a crowded marketplace. I know as a solopreneur and as someone who supports a lot of small businesses, not only are we, I don't want to say we're competing with each other, but we are, as a collective, competing with really large scale businesses, and they have a ton of money to constantly flood the market with messages. They go for a quantity over quality approach sometimes, and it works. Repeated exposure is definitely one of the ways that we start to create connection. But knowing your brand value and unapologetically taking a stance for that bigger picture and the emotional benefits and really getting deep, they can't compete with that. This is one of the ways that it doesn't matter if they've been in front of someone 10 times, if their messaging just kind of falls flat and it doesn't catch people, they won't be able to compete with one really, really good post that resonates with somebody on a deep level for you. And then you become the brand and the business that's offering that benefit, right? Every one of you has your own unique brand story, your own reason you came to create a business, your own reason you ended up where you are. And sharing that and sharing the bigger vision means you are no longer a commodity. Nobody can replicate your individual story and your individual brand. It creates emotional resonance. Super important. If you want a viable business, you need emotional resonance. It taps into the emotional benefit and it creates a deeper connection with customers and it enhances that loyalty again. It's all about building a community of people who go along with you. Quite often when we develop new products and services, we're still focused on that same vision and we're focused on our same market. It won't matter if you launch a new product or a business or a service, the same people will come back. And if you've served them right and you've created a good connection with them, they'll be your first buyers. They will be excited to try out what else you have to offer them. And it creates customer preference. A well-articulated brand value steers customers' preference towards your offering by showcasing why you're the better choice for them. If they align with your core values and the personality that you're showcasing, they will know you are the right choice for them. If you are an inclusive coffee shop and they're not into inclusivity, they will know this is not the space for them. If you're there to support that, you become that preference point for them. So when it comes to our brand value, and first, you do want to go through those 4 layers of the benefit ladder, and you can actually go through that for every product and service you do. If you're making a sales campaign for a product or service, you should understand those 4 rungs of your benefit ladder, and you should build it into your messaging and your landing page. You can do it for your business as a whole as well, like we did with the coffee shop. And what I want you to ask yourself to kind of get a sense of that deeper value that you're providing is, what is the one thing your customers would miss the most if your business disappeared tomorrow? Like with our coffee shop, they wouldn't be like, I missed the coffee, right? They could, even if it was really good coffee, they could probably go somewhere else and get it. It would be, I miss that place where I could just sit and catch up with my best friend and feel really welcomed. That's the benefit. So if you got all of your clients and customers in front of you and said, yeah, I'm closing up shop tomorrow, what would they be like? Oh no, what would they be sad to be losing from their life? It's probably not just the product or service you're providing. There's probably a lot of emotional benefits and then larger societal benefits that they would be really sad to lose. And then you want to bring that into your brand strategy. So those are our 3 points. By now, hopefully our goals are accomplished. I'm really excited. I hope you guys understand the real benefits of branding. It's an investment. If you want to develop a brand strategy, if you hire someone, it's an investment. If you're going to dig into it yourself and spend the time, be prepared to put a good amount of time into this. The beauty of brand is that it's not one of those things we have to refresh every month, because that gets really tiresome sometimes. It is one of those things that's good for years. You want to go back and revisit. Every now and then we might want to do a brand refresh, but it really is almost a one and done thing. It really sets the foundation. So it's worth investing your time into building it out. You'll want to look at our brand vision, which is that big picture, that guiding North Star that we talked about. Your brand voice, which is the personality behind your brand, the character traits it embodies. And then your brand value, which is that the 4 rungs and the really deep benefits that you're bringing with your product or service. I'm going to go over the questions again so that you guys can kind of refresh them in your head. Like I said, I'll send them in an email as well. So for a brand vision, to find your guiding North Star, you want to think about, what problem do you passionately want to solve? And how will the world be different because of it? How is your clients' and customers' lives different because of your product or service that they're purchasing? Your brand voice. If you're a business or a person, how would it speak to its closest friends, and how would they describe it? What kind of personality and character traits would they attribute to it? And then your brand value questions. Question, what is the one thing your customers and clients would miss the most if your business disappeared tomorrow? What would they be really sad to lose out on now that they can no longer do business with you? So that's it for me. That was really fun. I love talking, and I love helping business owners see the power that they already have. Even if a small scale guys, we actually have a huge advantage over some of those larger scale people, and our brand is one of them because it's not arbitrary. It's not contrived. It's really authentic and really genuine. So I'm excited for you guys to have this kind of to start working on your brand strategy. If you're into branding and this is kind of where you're focused on with developing your business right now, and you like group programs, in a couple of weeks, I am going to be launching a branding for small business 4-week intensive. It'll include 4 Zoom trainings, group style, as well as one-on-one coaching, and it'll completely build out your brand strategy. Not going to link for that because I launched that in my newsletter first. I like to really give value and respect to the people who've, like opted to open up my email because I know how many emails I get and it's a lot. And I like being able to develop those type of relationships, especially with the people I'm bringing into my programs, because it's a close working relationship, and it's a beautiful thing to do. So if it's something you are potentially interested in, or you just really want the value of the tips and strategies, jump on the email list. I have a couple of minutes. If anybody has any questions I want to throw in the chat, you can do that. If not, we can close it up. I can certainly talk, that's for sure.
Can I ask you, sorry.
Yeah.
I just want to ask you one thing. We've been through some rebranding our company right now, and just want to ask if the client visits our website, for example, and he doesn't see the exact price list. Does it mean he'll be like discouraged and to leave and not to contact us at all? Or how is it like working for him?
What kind of business do you have?
We have an IT development business and consulting services. So let's say the price is not always like regular. It depends on the complex of the issues or advices or just project they need to build from us. So it depends, actually.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in giving some pricing. On my own website, I have the basic list out, but I do a lot of custom packages as well. When we have a buyer who is in a immediate situation where they're sussing out who they want to go with, they want that kind of information. And if you don't have it available, you've now created another barrier where they have to contact you, and they might be like, they move on to somebody else. So people in your audience who are in that mindset, you will lose them because they're ready to move now, especially if you're in the IT, right? That's one of those places as a B2B, especially. The smoother the journey and the less you make them work for the information they need to decide who they're going to go with, the better your opportunity.
Yeah, we had the price list actually. Now we decided to reconsider, let's say, how about the prices? So we will change or not, because even they were like average, and it was not so much traffic. So I was just like a little bit like surprised, or just like kind of like stressed about that. So I wasn't really sure. You're doing something wrong, maybe. Okay.
It's never wrong. It's just about taking the feedback. And do you have a lead generation strategy? Like if traffic to the web page is lower than what you would want, do you have a strategy for bringing people in?
Well, actually, we didn't create a specific campaign yet. That's what we actually planning to do when it's all done, so we can just offer the whole website, the products and everything to the clients. But we'll definitely concentrate on the specific target group so we can hit the right ones.
Yeah, sounds like you're on the right path.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Me. Mike.
Oh.
Hi, Shan. So thank you so much for this like useful or very beautiful session, very informative. And here is recently I just after a long while I was just in the market, and but this is the from one town to another town, but I have already made the connection in the another town. So I just participated in the one women international vendors market. I met so beautiful, very connected, very good vibes entrepreneurs. At the same time, I was trying to connect for several last few months one shop in Balville.
Mhm.
So here is, yes, she took like, okay, Nilu, come and I just need your product. I just want to see again. So she took all my product at at the time. It's not like I sold all everything, but it's like I made more beautiful connection at the market, at the in the Balville with the business group as well. Here is now my transaction, because whatever I had business, but the same kind of business, but different with a different approach. Maybe example, if I'm developing this one right now. Example, but in a different format, like a different. So now product is same, but it's a different format. So I need to make the brand, and my vision the same is I just want to connect with the people, make the trust, and build the building, right? So if we have a transition from A to B business, so we need to we need to connect again, make a new brand. So sorry if you can understand my question. Means we need to work same way which one I worked, because I just want to build the trust between me and customer A to B. So the same process, or do I need more core value to bring like core value in the business?
I
Sorry, it's long here.
Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. I work with a lot of clients that they go through transitions, and usually there is a lot of overlap. Even if you are developing with a new market or a slightly different product, you will probably have the same brand at the core. So there's probably a lot of elements that you can use. And one of the other things, if we're entrepreneurs and we're small business owners, quite often what we're really working with is a personal brand. Very few of us are making a brand that's completely separate from ourselves. That's a business that we want to build and sell. That's one avenue, in which case it's a business brand.
Yeah.
But if it's coming from you, it's probably very much based on your personal brand, which will stay the same regardless of how you're applying it to a product.
Yeah, so coffee to slushy. So I really like that, and I just would like to drink coffee at the shop as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah.
We have 2 minutes left. Okay. I think we're good then. Thank you everybody for coming. I will send out the recording, and I'll send out those 3 questions so that you can go over them. You can always send me an email back. I love talking to people. I love talking in general. So thanks for letting me talk at you for 60 minutes here. It's been great. I really hope this helped you guys and it supports your business growth.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a great week, guys.
Thank you. Have a good week.